years into my marriage with Adrian, he still doesn't seem to like me much. That's fine, I don't like him much either. My period hasn't shown up lately, and Riverdale's OBGYN said what I really need to regulate my cycle is a man. So I told him, Adrian, how about we just get divorced? I saw his shoulders jerk. You want a divorce because of him? Later he pinned me in the back seat and kissed me until I couldn't breathe. Still want that divorce? Before we go on, subscribe to this channel and drop a comment telling us where you're listening from. Got a boyfriend? The doctor asked, glancing at my chart. I shook my head. Only a husband. No boyfriend. Then get a boyfriend. A boyfriend will cure this. What kind of weird illness is that? I walked out of Riverdale still clutching the lab report. My best friend Stella took one look and asked, what did the doctor say? He told me to find a boyfriend. Stella snorted. So you and Adrian still haven't done it? I blinked. Done what? She leaned over and whispered in my ear. My face exploded in heat. I shook my head. We haven't even held hands. She looked horrified. 2 years married and 0 contact. You two are a special species. What does that have to do with my missing period? She launched into a lecture, PCOS plus high androgen, doctors right. Go land a man, fast. I already have a husband. She stared at me like I was hopeless. Then she pulled out her phone and airdropped me a file. Just as I was about to open it, she blocked my screen. Watch it at home. Trust me, once you've studied, you'll be cured. Seriously? I squinted at the folder icon. After lunch with Stella, I went back to the penthouse. Adrian was on the sofa in a razor-cut black suit, hair perfect, reading. Sword-straight brows, star-bright eyes, tight mouth the color of ripe cherries. 2 years in, that face still stunned me. I peeked at the cover, more economics. I'd once tried one of those books, 2 pages and I was comatose. How does he do it? I sat beside him. He glanced over, then returned to his page. Reading, huh? Big deal. Today I'll study too, see how he likes it. I opened Stella's folder. Videos. Looked like movies. I tapped one at random. A man and woman on a couch jabbering away in Japanese, which I don't speak, but for the sake of science I kept watching. Adrian's gaze slid to me, suddenly odd. What? Never seen a woman educate herself. You're sure you want to watch that in front of me? He asked, voice strained. I lifted my chin. You read equals study. I watch equals study. Same thing. He said nothing and went back to his book. On screen the pair started kissing, pretty bold. Maybe this is the medicine. Then they stripped naked and I slammed the phone face down. Stella, you're dead. Adrian watched me spring off the sofa, amusement tugging at his mouth. Why stop? Keep learning. I wanted to vanish. I forgot my slippers and fled to the ensuite bath. Images from the clip and Adrian's smirk kept carouselling in my brain. I have never been so mortified. I called Stella from bed and cursed her raw. Wait, you watched an adult clip in front of Adrian and called it homework? She was laughing so hard she could barely breathe. I yelled, stop it. Are you trolling me? I swear on my life, sleep with Adrian and your hormones will reset. For real. May lightning fry me if I'm lying. To coax my period back I'd tried every folk remedy on the internet, nothing. After my 9th cup of brown sugar water I texted Stella. My period's been MIA for 2 months. What if I'm pregnant? I reached for cup number 10. Swollen with sugar water, I figured Stella's method was worth a shot. Following some forum advice, I ordered a lacy pink nightie. While I waited for the courier, Adrian came home. Scowling, he took the armchair opposite me, eyes like scalpels. I squirmed. Why are you staring? Nothing you want to tell me? He rarely shows anger, but right now he looked furious. Huh? What am I supposed to confess? The doorbell rang. I escaped to the entry, signed for the discreet parcel, and scurried upstairs. Holding the babydoll set, I felt my cheeks sizzle. I changed and studied myself in the mirror. Bright eyes, even teeth, nothing bombshell, but passably cute. Deep breath. So the front dips low and the hem flirts upward, no big deal, right? I tiptoed into the master suite just as Adrian stepped out of the shower. A towel rode low on his hips, water beaded on defined muscle. He really is the dictionary definition of skin-addressed, Lethal undressed. He blinked at me, expression unreadable. Wrong room. His voice was sandpaper rough. I slid the robe off one shoulder and, in my best kitten voice, asked, "Husband, do I look okay?" He looked almost startled. He walked over, closed my robe, and tied the sash. "You don't have to do any of this." Then he carried me to the bed. As I lay there, his words ping-ponged in my head. "You don't have to do any of this." Translation: zero attraction. So how on earth do I get better? I met Stella the next day and declared the seduction attempt a bust. He didn't even twitch. I shook my head, mortified. Could be equipment failure. You mean he can't perform? She lifted a brow. Entirely possible, I groaned. Then I'm doomed. Relax. One defective unit doesn't doom the whole market, she said, wiggling her brows. What are you suggesting? She sighed, leaned in, and whispered a few scandalous words. My jaw dropped. Wait, you want me to cheat? My voice rose in shock, and the other patrons in the cafe swiveled their heads toward us. Keep it down. Is this something to brag about? I waved both hands frantically. No way, never. I absolutely will not cheat. The Sterlings had once pulled my family back from the brink. I couldn't repay kindness with betrayal. Then get a divorce, because those are your only two choices. Divorce. Flashbacks from our marriage streamed through my head. Adrian had actually treated me pretty well. But what about my illness? I exhaled. Let me think about it. Back home, Adrian was on the sofa reading, same as always. I collapsed beside him like a ghost. He shot me a suspicious look. Your period still hasn't come? How did he know? Had he seen my lab report? I nodded. His expression darkened. Want to go to Riverdale and have them check? I sipped some water. Already did. After a long silence he asked again, so it's real? Real what? Real illness? Hadn't he read the paperwork? I nodded, and his face went completely black. He slammed the book shut and stalked upstairs. I'm the sick one, why is he angry? I asked Mrs. King to brew brown sugar water and chugged 3 cups in a row. So bloated I couldn't bear it. I unbuttoned my jeans and lay on the couch watching TV. Adrian came down for water, saw my bulging stomach, and froze. You what? Never seen someone stuffed before? I rolled my eyes at him, rubbed my belly, and kept watching my show. Alex, Eleanor wants us at the Sterling Ancestral Manor for dinner. Little Luna barreled into my arms. Auntie CEO. Eleanor beamed at us. You two have been married 2 years, time for babies. I gave Adrian a sympathetic glance. His brother's kid was already running errands and he still couldn't conceive, poor guy. Adrian's low voice cut in. Mom, Sophia's already pregnant. Who's pregnant? Sophia. Me. I gaped at him. If you can't father a child, don't tell a lie this huge. How will we fake the next 10 months? Really? Eleanor's smile nearly swallowed her eyes. She whisked Luna from my arms, parked me on the sofa, and ordered the cook to bring fruit. When Richard walked in, Eleanor dragged him over to share the wonderful news. Richard looked thrilled and pressed a black ink Amex into my hand, spending money for me and the baby. I took the card with trembling fingers and glared at Adrian's stormy face. You're the one who lied, why glower at me? At dinner my bowl became a miniature mountain. Eleanor kept piling food on. I kicked Adrian under the table. He glanced over. Mom, stop, she can't eat that much. He scooped half my portion into his own bowl. Afterward we rode home in his car. Watching him drive, I could tell his mood had been garbage for days. I hesitated, then asked, Adrian, why did you lie? He flicked a look at me. About what? My pregnancy. I'm clearly not. He cut me off. You're my wife. I married you. I'll take responsibility. What did that even mean? I couldn't puzzle it out. Car sick, I closed my eyes and dozed. When I woke, Adrian's jacket was over me and the heater was running. Rubbing my eyes, I saw him leaning against the car door, smoking. Embers glowed at the tip of the cigarette, lighting his profile in brief flashes. Smoke curled around his face. His brows were soaked in sorrow. So he can't father kids, must he grieve like this? I pushed the door open and stepped out. The acrid cloud hit me. I pinched my nose. When did you start? It reeks. Complaining, I hurried inside. I drank brown sugar tonic for 5 straight days, yet my period still ghosted me. Clearly I had to follow doctor's orders, find a man to regulate my cycle. I glanced at Adrian typing on his laptop. Adrian, maybe we should divorce. His whole frame flinched. You want a divorce for him? Him who? What are you talking about? His breathing stalled as though he was swallowing something sharp. Let me think about it, he rasped, voice shredded. Seeing him hurt, my heart softened. I wanted to explain divorce for treatment, remarry once cured, but remembering he couldn't perform, I swallowed the words. In bed I called Stella. He said he'll consider the divorce. Adrian actually agreed. Looks like it. I wasn't sure, he'd seemed genuinely upset. Get over here now, I'll line something up. I hesitated. We're not divorced yet. This feels wrong. Do you want to get well or not? On my way out, Adrian glanced over, exhaustion etched on his face. I avoided his gaze, guilt pricking me. Hand on the doorknob, I heard his low question. Going out? I nodded. Where? I'll drive you. No need, Stella's picking me up. He said nothing more and walked upstairs. Facing the neat row of guys Stella had assembled, I whispered, "Is this okay?" She thumped her chest. Relax, handpicked college men, all vetted. I was jittery. The moment I sat, a boy in a white shirt slid next to me and forked a cube of watermelon to my lips. Sweetheart, say ah. I bit, sizing him up, cute, but not Adrian-level gorgeous. He leaned closer, hands reaching for my shoulders. Electric panic jolted me sideways. I'm ticklish. Don't worry, I'll be gentle, he crooned, reaching again. Right then the door burst open. Adrian stood there, face like a thundercloud. Home. Now. Ice crackled off him. I darted behind Stella, clutching her sleeve. Stella stepped between us. Rowan, you're divorcing, why police her? Who says we're divorcing? Adrian's glare shifted to her. You drag a pregnant woman to a place like this? Stella spun around, wide-eyed. You're pregnant. I froze, shaking my head. No way. Adrian went still, his stare tangled with something I couldn't read. You're not pregnant. I popped my head out from behind Stella. I didn't. His eyes dropped to my stomach. Didn't you say you're pregnant? That you even went to the hospital? When did I ever say I was pregnant? He pulled out his phone, swiped a few times, and set it on the table. I picked it up and read the message I'd sent him. My period's been missing for 2 months. Am I pregnant? That was supposed to go to Stella. How did it reach him? I said my period never came, but that doesn't mean I'm pregnant. I'm sick. I looked at him and explained carefully. He yanked me over at once, scanning me from head to toe. Sick? Where does it hurt? Stella gazed at the two of us like we were idiots. She's got PCOS plus elevated androgens, can you even read the labs? Inside the car I glanced at Adrian beside me. His hand was wrapped tightly around mine, warmth pooling in his eyes. Adrian, have you thought it over? Thought what over? Divorce. His brows snapped together. You still want one? I nodded. I have to treat this illness. When he saw the nod, his face darkened. The next second his kiss crashed down, awkward, urgent, fierce, hot teeth and lips grinding mine. I reached out to push him away, but he caught my hand and pinned it. I was gasping, head spinning. Finally he let me go, voice low and rough. Still leaving? One word and he'd swallow me whole. Under that threat, I shook my head. He led me home by the hand. Mrs. King saw our joined fingers and beamed. He told Mrs. King to move his things to the master suite. I watched his belongings invade my space. I pointed at my bed. You're sleeping here? He raised an eyebrow. Problem? I asked weakly, then where do I sleep? He pulled me into his arms, hot breath brushing my ear. We're legally married. Weren't we divorcing? I didn't dare voice it. A sudden heavy ache stabbed my lower belly. I bolted to the bathroom. My period had arrived. I whipped out my phone to tell Stella the good news. She texted back. Adrian cured you? I thought back, could that car kiss be the miracle cure? Does a kiss count? You guys kissed. How was it? Spill. His lips are soft. Maybe I'd stayed too long. Adrian's voice came through the door. Sophia, you okay? I opened up, excited. My period's here. He tugged a half-smile. Congrats. Now there was an extra body in the bed. I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. After who knew how many rolls, an arm slid around my waist. My back met his warm chest, his head on my shoulder. Can't sleep. I gave a tiny He sighed, rolled me to face him, and rubbed my back. Under that gentle motion I drifted off. Midnight cramps jerked me awake, cold sweat on my forehead. Adrian, it hurts. He felt my soaked back, startled, and flicked on the light. Seeing my pale face, he reached for his phone to dial 911. I stopped him. No, just cramps. Bring me hot water. He scrambled up. Moments later he returned with a steaming mug and a heat patch. I took the cup, opened the nightstand, and swallowed an Advil. He climbed back in, laid the patch on my abdomen, and rubbed gently. When I woke, his hand still rested on my stomach. He hadn't stirred. Sun painted his face, peaceful, lashes soft, lips slightly parted. My first time studying him this close, seeing him asleep. So handsome. I traced the bridge of his nose. He was exhausted, didn't wake. I bent and brushed a kiss to his mouth. A low chuckle floated up. Mortified, I tried to flee, but he hauled me in. When did you wake up? When you kissed me. My cheeks burned. His breathing deepened as he rolled on top of me, his kiss soft, lingering. I looped arms around his neck. Encouraged, his kiss turned hungry, breath roughening. After breakfast I flopped on the couch to binge a drama. He carried a book and sat beside me, tucking my feet under his pajama shirt. His warmth slid up my soles. Embarrassed, I tried to yank free. He pressed them tighter. You're not going to the office? Nothing urgent. One day off won't hurt. Watching his serious reading face, I felt mischievous. Adrian, my stomach hurts. He dropped the book, scooped me in, rubbing while asking, right here? His panic made me laugh. Realizing the prank, he flicked my nose. Little liar, yet his hand kept circling, gentle. A lump rose in my throat. Except for Stella, no one had ever cared this much. Mom died giving birth to me. Dad soon married that woman. Inside the Sterling family estate I'd always been disposable until 2 years ago when Adrian first asked if I'd marry him. My so-called father leapt at the offer. So I wed Adrian. He never pressed me for anything, and these 2 years have been easier than the 20 before. I hugged his arm. Adrian. He looked down. What? I feel really happy. At noon he took me to Hot, the first real meal we've had out, just the two of us. A couple at the next table cooed and flirted. Adrian glanced at them, then at our bubbling pot. Babe Tilda, I want that little beef slice too Tilda. The word babe nearly knocked my soul out. I pinched the soft inside of his arm. What's gotten into you? He looked wounded. That's how everyone dates. They're new lovebirds. We're an old married couple. Old couples don't deserve beef slices. I fished every slice out and dumped them in his bowl. Fine. All yours. Happy. Content. He popped a piece into his mouth. After the meal, as I stood up, he tied his jacket around my waist. I glanced back at the seat I'd just left. Sure enough, I'd bled through. Wait here for a second. A moment later he came back with a plastic bag. He pulled out a wet wipe, cleaned the stain off the stool, then tugged me toward the restroom. At the door he handed me the bag. Inside were a fresh pair of pants and a pad. How could a man be this thoughtful? Had he secretly enrolled in some husband training course? When we left Hot Pot we passed the cinema next door. Adrian tugged my sleeve. I looked up. What's up? He pointed at the marquee. I asked, you want to catch a movie? Coming out of the theater I glanced at Adrian in his shirt. Aren't you cold? I'm okay. I took his hand, definitely cool. Back home I hustled him straight into a hot shower. In the middle of the night he burned up, delirious, forehead scorching under my palm. Sick Adrian turned clingy, arms locked around me. Stop it, I'm going to mix you some meds. I carried the cold medicine to the bed. He turned his head away like a kid refusing vegetables. I scooped a spoonful and coaxed, drink it like a good boy, or you'll cook your brain. He opened up reluctantly, swallowed, and scrunched his face at the bitterness. Who knew the ever-composed Adrian was scared of medicine? After I finished nursing him I was wiped. I woke the next morning and reached for his forehead, temperature normal, fever gone. His eyes opened, laughter shining in them. Stop grinning. Without me you'd have roasted. He caught my hand and kissed my knuckles. That's why I've got you. He was in no shape for the office, so he worked from home. I brought another dose. He frowned but downed it without theatrics. The way he drank was so cute I pecked him on the cheek. Adrian hooked my neck and tried to deepen the kiss right when Stella walked in. Am I interrupting something? I shoved him away. What are you doing here? She tossed a snack bag onto the sofa. What? I'm not welcome. Adrian picked up his laptop and tactfully retreated to the study. The second he left, Stella pounced. Spill, what's going on? I gave her the 48-hour recap. So it's a marriage first, love later deal, she asked, crunching chips. I nodded, cheeks warm. But what about your pcos? I thought he couldn't perform. I smacked my forehead, so busy falling in love I'd forgotten. Guess I'll drag him to a doctor. After breakfast I studied Adrian. How could a perfectly fine man just not be fine? How do you even bring that up? He caught my frown. Do I have something on my face? Nope. He strolled over and kissed my forehead. I inhaled, grabbed his hand, and hauled him to the car. At Riverdale he asked, who's sick, you? Not me, you. I feel great. Look, I know it's awkward, but a quick check won't kill you. I marched him to the men's health clinic. The doctor looked us over. So what's the problem? Adrian stayed mute. I nudged him. Tell him. He blinked. Tell him what? Screw pride, our future was on the line. Doc, he can't perform. Adrian shot up, teeth clenched. Can't perform? Who told you that? The doc glanced at him knowingly. Son, Ken isn't yours to grade, your wife's the referee. Relax, let's find the cause. He reached for a chart. I chimed in. Exactly, let him examine you. Sophia. It was the first time he'd used my full name. His face was thunder. He yanked me out of the office. In the back seat I studied his scowl. Was he really this touchy? Okay, forget the exam, just don't be mad. He pinned me against the leather, eyes blazing. Tonight you'll learn exactly how fine I am. His mouth crashed onto mine, not gentle, punishing. The moment the driver parked he carried me inside and straight to the bedroom. He set me on the bed and started unbuttoning. I clutched my chest. What are you doing? Shirt gone, he smirked. Scared now? Didn't you declare me broken? Let me fix that diagnosis. He brushed my hair aside, mouth grazing my neck, slow bites trailing down. He guided my fingers to his shirt buttons, then down the hard planes of his chest. Tell me, wife, am I broken? His voice was pure gravel. My brain blue-screened, my face burned. His hand slipped under my top, heartbeat hammering against my ribs. A whimper escaped me. He paused, eyes dark, then kissed me soft and deep. Suddenly I fisted the sheets. It hurts. He groaned, nose brushing my brow. I lost count of how many times I begged, voice hoarse, but he kept proving his point over and over. Whoever spread that rumor deserved jail time. I was dying. Morning light found me sprawled like a rag doll. The first thing I saw was his smug smile. So, wife, am I functional? I buried my flaming face in the quilt while he laughed low and satisfied. Memory flashed. My failed seduction in lingerie. I peeked out. Then why didn't you react the night I dressed up? Because I thought you were pregnant and shopping for a fallback guy. He pulled me into his arms, a wicked glint flashing in his eyes. How about you put it on again? Get lost. I needed my sore lower back while giving Stella a battlefield report over the phone. Stella's shriek crackled through the speaker. You actually slept with Adrian? Yep. No idea if my condition's cured yet. You think he's some miracle drug? Sleep with him for a month straight first, then we'll talk. A whole month. I squeaked, memories of last night flooding back. At this rate I'd die in that bed. It's for your health, suck it up. Survive a month. You're asking for my life. I hung up and found Adrian leaning in the doorway, half smiling. My eyes popped. How long have you been there? Eavesdropping is rude. He strolled over, brushed a kiss to the corner of my mouth, and murmured against my ear, not eavesdropping, assisting my wife's treatment. Crap, he'd heard everything. After a week of Adrian's relentless therapy, I was weighing a refugee stint at Stella's when my savior arrived. Sister. Penelope barreled into me, almost knocking me over. We were still mid-hug when Adrian came downstairs. "When did you two become BFFs?" Hands on hips, I snapped. "None of your business, we've always been close." On the sofa, Penelope flopped beside me. Adrian parked across from us. I nudged her. "Does Lucas know you're here?" She shook her head. "We're getting divorced." "What?" "They used to be glued together, I used to envy them." Adrian glanced at us, then headed upstairs. I whispered, "Why divorce? His ex-girlfriend's back." I frowned. "So? What's that got to do with you?" "She's his white moon." "White moon returns." I exit stage left. I nodded slowly. White moon really is weapon grade. Lucas showed up minutes later. Penelope sat with arms crossed. Lucas knelt bawling in front of her. I cradled a watermelon, spectating. Adrian confiscated it. "Too cold, you'll get cramps." Half an hour later, Penelope finally stood to leave with Lucas. I tugged her sleeve. "You said you'd sleep over tonight." She sat back down. Lucas and Adrian exchanged panicked glances. Lucas scratched his head. "Sis, we've got stuff to do, let big bro keep you company." "We have zero plans," Penelope said, perfectly innocent. Lucas looked at Adrian. "Do something about your wife." Adrian shrugged. "No can do." So Penelope and I claimed the master suite. Adrian and Lucas bunked in the guest room. When I woke, the couple had vanished. Only Adrian remained, eating breakfast at the dining table. I padded downstairs. "Where'd they go?" He bit into a steamed bun. "Luna was crying, they went home to parent." "Do you have an ex-girlfriend?" Adrian shook his head. "Any white moon?" Another head shake. "So boring, can't even pick a fight." I grumbled inwardly. Year-end hit and Adrian turned hectic. "I've got a business trip, want to stay at the ancestral manor while I'm gone." "You're leaving?" My eyes lit up. "That happy, you little traitor?" He pretended to glower. "Not happy at all, I'll miss you, husband Tilda." I draped my arms around his neck. His gaze darkened as he pulled me close. "What did you call me?" Realizing what I'd blurted, I buried my crimson face in his chest. He grinned, delight threading his voice. "Say it again." "No." "Sure." He leaned in, pinning me to the mattress. "Husband. Husband. Husband." I yelped. Satisfied, he pecked my lips and got up. The night before his flight, he dropped me at the Sterling Ancestral Manor. In the car, I clutched his sleeve. "Can I skip it?" He soothed my hand. "Unsafe alone at home. Last time you told Mom I was pregnant, what if she finds out I'm not?" He chuckled. "Relax, I'll explain." The moment we stepped inside, Eleanor greeted us. "What brings you two here?" Adrian laced his fingers through mine. "I'm away for a week. Sophia will be safer here." Eleanor's gaze landed on our joined hands, her smile approving. She ordered Mrs. Williams to bring desserts. "Try these, see if they suit you." Avoiding Eleanor's eyes, I elbowed Adrian. "Mom, I need to clarify, Sophia isn't pregnant. Last time was a false positive." "False positive?" Surprise flickered across her face, then shifted to our clasped hands. I braced for scolding. Eleanor laughed. "Why so tense?" "Grandchildren come when they're ready. Seeing you too affectionate eases my mind." She sighed. "Before you acted like strangers, today you look like newlyweds." At dinner she ladled fish soup for me. The smell hit me and nausea surged. I bolted to the powder room, retching. Adrian followed, rubbing my back. "You okay? Something you ate?" I shook my head. The fishy smell just ooh. Back at the table, Eleanor eyed me, smiling. "Maybe I'll be a real grandma this time." "Mom, what do you mean?" Rolling her eyes, she dialed the family doctor. After checking my pulse and asking questions, the doctor beamed. "Congratulations, you're going to be parents." I touched my flat stomach. "A baby Adrian's and mine?" I stared at Adrian, disbelieving. He stood frozen, stunned speechless. Finally he cupped my belly, lifted me, and spun around. "I'm going to be a dad. Thanks for listening. If you liked the story, please hit like and share it with friends. Drop a comment with your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more. See you next time.